Hello, my name is Tasha Wilkerson, and thank you for joining our micro learning session on engaging with youth and families for sustained change. This is one of our sessions for our sustainability camp, and we know that engaging with youth and families for those sustained change is very important. So, thank you for joining. Our learning objectives for this session today is one, understand the role of parents in prevention, identify strategies for parent engagement, and applying family centered prevention practices. Families and parents matter. We know that that's important. That you cannot have a school and working with young people and doing this type of work and not work with parents because they are very important to engaging and sustaining efforts that you are working towards. So again, I thank you for participating in this session on today. One of the things that we understand as the positive role for parents in prevention is that we know that parents play a role in the academic performance. Parental engagement is crucial for improving children's academic performance, and we know that involving those parents contribute to a higher grades, better attendance, and improved behavior. According to the Ann Casey study, it indicates that 98% of students with engaged parents have a better attendance, which significantly boosts their success. We also know that with that parental involvement, parent performance with parental involvement is important because parents are involved in every area of what young people are doing, and it helps with the long-term success of what young people are doing in school, and because they see that there's someone in their life that is supporting their academic performance. So we are really, we know that the role of parents is very important. We also understand, as I indicated, that it assists with the young person's long-term success because active parental participation in a child's education, it leads to more significant long-term benefits, which are higher rates of college enrollment, higher rates of career success, and it fosters a supportive environment that emphasizes the importance of education. We all know, all of us have been in education before and working ourselves and doing these things ourselves, going to school ourselves. And we know that when our parents are involved, then it really, really pushes us for our long-term success. I, as an adult, still think about the things that my parent have taught me as it relates to my success in my education field, and that has translated into how successful I can be in my career and in my path. And also, it helped me to stay away from negative behaviors and those risk factors that we think about. We also know that there are diverse areas of influence in the role of parents in prevention. Parental involvement extends beyond just academics, but it goes into the role of the extracurricular activities. Young persons who are involved in sports, cheer, band, those are all the things that I was involved in. And so when parents are involved in not only my school success, but my extracurricular activities, then that built my confidence, and it builds young person's confidence and allows them to understand that they can be a team player, and it enhances their overall development. The Annie E. Casey Foundation supports that message as it relates to young people in diverse areas of influence and what the role of parents in prevention really means. And so we continue to encourage you to make sure that you're supporting young people in diverse areas, support those parents, because we know that they're the ones that will help the young person to be successful. There are also challenges, however, and barriers to parent engagement. We know that there are some time constraints that may allow parents not to participate in type of things that we would want them to, such as their work schedules, as well as other family responsibilities. So if we're planning things that we want parents to be a part of, we want to make sure that we are doing them in a way where they can attend. So we're doing things after school, we're doing things after 5 or after 6 so that parents can be involved. We also know that there may be some economic challenges to that, meaning they have to go to work, or they may not have a vehicle, or they may not have access to the type of resources that would allow them to participate in some of the things that you would want them to participate. And so we want to make sure that we don't make assumptions about parents that cannot come to the schools and come to the events that you may do, but we want to make sure that we think about those barriers and build around those. And the other reason why parents may have barriers and because of the challenges that they face is a lack of awareness for that information, meaning how are we getting that information to them? Do they know? Did you put it in social media? Did you put it in a newsletter? How are you communicating the things that you want them to participate in? If they don't know by the way that they communicate, then you may assume that they don't want to participate. So we do things in that area like tell another parent, have a buddy system, some type of way that another parent will support them and say, hey, you should be a part of this because it supports your child. Cultural and language barriers is also a issue that is a barrier to parent engagement. If the parent can't understand, of course, I know that may seem obvious, but not only when you speak a different language, but linguistically, meaning at what level is the reading? Is it at a level where academically they can't understand it? And if that's true, then you want to bring it down to at least a 3rd or 4th grade reading level. That may seem like, oh my God, I don't want to be offensive to parents, but across the board, we need to do that in our writing. And we want to make sure that people understand what you're saying and they will be a part of what you're doing. Trust and safety concerns is also an issue. If you're in an area and the parent may not feel safe, and safety doesn't mean that, okay, there are no lights or, there's been some type of violence, but it could be that school or participating in programming of such may cause trauma to some parents. If they were not successful in school or in after school type programs and it brings on a personal trauma, then you want to think about, are there other areas or other things that they trust and people that they trust to be a part of? That goes to the second point here. Emotional and psychological barriers. If they don't feel safe or did not feel safe in schools when they were young, then they may be pushed back from coming because it just causes too much, too much psychological trauma for them. So please think about that and know that that could be a challenge for parents. And then you have youth who may be resistant, where they may not want their parents there. And it may be different reasons why. It could be because they may be behaving in a way that they don't want their parents to know about. But on the positive note, that may be their place. And they don't want their parents to take over another thing from them. So figuring out what that resistance could be could help with the young person not having some type of resistance. And when you give them a handout, they don't take it home. So what are the things that you can do to make sure that that's not happening? Then your program design. So if you're designing it in a way that they're not interested in what you're doing, you may want to think about that. And the way that you can do that is by way of doing surveys or some type of focus group so you can find out what they're interested in that may cause them to come. Like, are there other people that can be on your committee to allow them to say, okay, they've designed it in a way that I really like, and so I would love to be there. So these are some of the challenges that families will face and barriers that they may have to engagement. We all know that in order for parents to be engaged, in order for your programs to be successful, you want to sustain this area of parent engagement. And so these are some barriers that you want to think about and get in front of and make sure that you're aware of them. Now, there are some strategies for parent engagement that I would like to share. And some of those are collaborative partnerships, strength based approach, and behavior modeling. And so, collaborative partnership is simply, where you get those parents involved who like to do things and they like to be a part of what you're doing, and they'll pass out information, they'll help you plan things, but you're asking them to be a part of it. I know that many of us who are watching this session have wanted to be a part of something. And when people are not including you, then you definitely don't want to go to the school building. You definitely don't want to be a part because you don't feel like they have collaborated with you in a way that's positive for you. Also, a strength based approach where this is where you focus on the family strengths. That simply means that if you find out that there are some really great things that the parent and the families do together, then find out what that may be and ask them what they're doing and focus in on that strength instead of every time that the child is doing something negative, that is when they're called, or that's when they get a phone call, that's when someone want to speak with them. But it's a more of a strength-based approach where you're talking to them about what's great with their family, what's great with their student, their child. And so they more so would like to talk to you and engage with you if you're able to have a strength-based approach. Then the last strategy or another strategy is behavior modeling, where you're able to just share exactly the way that you want them to communicate with you is the way that you're going to communicate with them. And so if you call them and say, hi, how you doing? I was just checking in on you, but I don't have anything to say, or to say negative, then that's behavior modeling. If you show them positive ways on how to engage with their child in front of them, then they start modeling your behavior. And so they're duplicating that and mirroring that. These are really great strategies that you can use yourself and without pointing to them and saying, see, this is what I have done, or these are the things that you should do, but instead, model the behavior in front of them, and then they will be more likely to mirror what you're doing because they saw the positive outcome of what you've done. This is part one of the parent engagement piece for our sustainability. Thank you.